Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you about your identity. Sometimes we get confused about who we are and what we do. Those are two different things, and sometimes we get focused on what we do in life and think that is who we are. The problem with that is that is not true, and we sometimes can't separate the two. However, the two are very different. An example of that is as both of my daughters do something as far as extracurricular activities. One of those is Millie dances and Sadie does tumbling. The thing is that sometimes I do call Millie a dancer and sometimes I do call Sadie a gymnast. The problem with that is that I do not want my children to grow up with the feeling of that's who I am, I'm a dancer, or that's who I am, I'm a gymnast. And the reason for that is because what happens when something happens to them either physically or maybe we don't have the money to provide those lessons for them anymore, and then they're really not a dancer anymore, or they're really not a gymnast anymore. Then what happens to their identity? This is why I do not choose to make that their identity. I make sure that my children know that yes, you can dance and yes, you can do gymnastics or tumbling, but that's not who you are. Who you are is a child of the King. So if you have accepted Christ as your personal Savior, then you are a child of the King. You are not a baseball player, a football player, a soccer player, a dancer, a gymnast, a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher. You're not all those things. Although you can do those things, that's not who you are. That's what you do. So when we talk about our identities, sometimes we get a little confused in how God perceives us and how others perceive us. Yes, when someone asks, what do you do? As an adult, we tell what our job is, right? And as my job, I tell what I do, right? But the problem in that is what if I don't have that job anymore at some point? Am I no longer a person of worth because I don't have that job anymore? No, that's what I want you to understand today, is that this has nothing to do with your worth. So when we talk about Jesus Christ and being a child of the King, and you are rooted in Jesus and your identity belongs in Jesus and not in something that you do, then there's where your self-worth is. I tell my kids all the time, and I tell the youth that I teach all the time, that you are the one that believes what people say about you or does not believe what people say about you. If someone calls you a name, someone says something bad about you, starts a rumor about you, if you believe that, then all of a sudden you've made that true. You've made that true to yourself, that you believe what someone else perceives you to be, and that becomes your identity. But that is not who you are. You are a child of the King. And what do children of the King get? Inheritance, eternity, things that they cannot buy, things that they cannot get anywhere else but through Jesus Christ. So when we think about who we are, we need to be very careful about not putting what we do in that position. It is really only about Jesus Christ, and we are only a child of the King. So if we can be rooted in that and know that our identity only comes through Jesus Christ and not through what other people say about us, what our job was or is going to be. If you're in college, remember those things are all important, but that is not the most important thing in your life. The most important thing in our life is who are we, and that should be our character, the things that we see in someone. When we see someone, do you see Jesus first, or do you see what job they do, or what sport they do, or what place they are ranked in a company, or in school, or in any other sport or place, do we look at that, or do we look at their character and how they act and what they choose to portray themselves to be like Jesus? So remember, your identity does not come from the things that we do, although the things that we do should show who Jesus is to others, and that should be our identity. But I mean in the perception of things that we do in a job, or at school, or in a sport, or things like that. Those things are not bad. I don't think those things are bad, but I do believe that we put too much of who we are into those things, and then we, quote, become those things. And then when that's no longer there anymore, then we get depressed and get down because that we can't do that sport anymore, we can't do that thing anymore, whatever it is, or we've lost that job, and then all of a sudden we think that's who we are, and that's not who we are. We are a child of the one true King. So remember that today, that no matter how your life is going, no matter what's going wrong in your life right now, that you belong to the King, and the King has everything. Remember that. He has heaven, and he has a place for you there. So remember that today, whenever you are focused on things that are of this world and things that do not matter, make sure that you focus on who you belong to and what your true identity is in him. It is only in Jesus. I love you all. Talk to you later. Hope these are helping, and just I just continue to do this because I'm, again, being obedient to God, but I hope they are helping you in some way, shape, or form. Love you all, and talk to you again another time. Bye.